My friend, I want to speak to your heart today. You've been waiting, praying, hoping for that day when love will finally be sealed in a covenant marriage. Deep inside, you know it's coming soon. The signs are there, the whispers are clear, and your spirit has already begun to prepare. But before the joy of that union, there is a test. And this test may shock you because it is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to prepare you, to refine you, to make sure you are ready for the blessing that is on its way. Marriage is not just a ceremony, not just a ring on your finger, not just vows spoken at an altar. Marriage is holy. Marriage is a calling. And when God ordains something holy, He allows a test before it. Not to break you, but to prove you, not to discourage you, but to strengthen you. Every blessing that carries eternal value is never handed without first being tested. When God prepares to bring you into marriage, He is not simply giving you a spouse. He is entrusting you with a covenant that reflects His own love and faithfulness. That is why there is always a test before the blessing. The test is not punishment, but preparation. It is not cruelty, but mercy. It is the process of making sure that the vessel is ready to hold the treasure. Think for a moment about how the greatest moments in life have often been preceded by the deepest challenges. Before the children of Israel entered the promised land, they wandered in the wilderness. Before David wore a crown, he carried a sling and hid in caves. Before Joseph sat in Pharaoh's palace, he endured betrayal, slavery, and prison. Each story teaches us that destiny is not reached without testing. In the same way, your marriage, a covenant that will shape not only your life but generations to come, will not arrive without a season where God proves you, molds you, and prepares you. The test before marriage may come in unexpected forms. Sometimes it is the test of patience, when you are asked to wait longer than you planned. You pray, you cry, you wonder why others are moving forward while you remain in the waiting room of life. That waiting is not wasted time. It is God building endurance, teaching you trust and anchoring your faith so that when the blessing comes, you will not take it lightly. Other times the test may appear in relationships that fail, in heartbreaks that leave scars, or in situations where you thought you found the one only to discover that it was not meant to be. Those tests do not mean that love will never come. They mean that you are being guided away from what is temporary and toward what is eternal. There is also the test of temptation. When your heart longs for marriage, the enemy will present counterfeits, distractions that look appealing but carry hidden dangers. These are tests of discernment to see whether you will settle for what is easy or hold out for what is ordained. In such moments, the decision is not just about love, but about faithfulness to God's purpose. Can you say no to what is convenient so you can say yes to what is divine? Another test is the pressure of circumstances. You may face family doubts, financial struggles, or the whispering voice that tells you marriage is impossible for you. These pressures can feel overwhelming, but they are allowed so that your faith is not built on the shifting sand of feelings, but on the unshakable rock of God's promise. A love that survives opposition becomes unbreakable. A faith that stands through storms will not collapse when real life begins after the wedding. Every test is a mirror that reveals who you are becoming. Will you give up when the road gets hard, or will you press on knowing that God is faithful? Will you lean on your own understanding, or will you trust Him to lead you step by step? The blessing of marriage is too precious to be placed in hands that are unprepared. And so God allows the refining fire not to take the dream from you, but to ensure that when you finally stand beside the one He has chosen, you will not just be ready to say vows, but to live them. The blessing is coming. The ring, the covenant, the love that you have prayed for is closer than you think. But remember this truth. If you are being tested, it is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It is evidence that He is preparing to trust you with more than you could ever imagine. The test before the blessing is the sign that the blessing is real. The waiting season is one of the most misunderstood parts of life, yet it is one of the most essential. When you are waiting for marriage, waiting for love to finally settle into covenant, it can feel like time is working against you. You see others moving forward, announcing engagements, celebrating weddings, and you wonder why your story seems delayed. But waiting is not wasted time. Waiting is God's classroom, His furnace of preparation, the place where hearts are shaped and faith is deepened. When God asks you to wait, it is not because He has forgotten you. It is because He is working on something in you and in the one He has chosen for you. A marriage built too quickly without the foundation of patience and maturity cannot carry the weight of covenant. Just as a seed must spend time underground before breaking through the soil, your season of waiting is the hidden work that produces visible fruit later. What feels like silence is often God's greatest activity, forming character, building resilience, and teaching you to lean on Him rather than your own timeline. The waiting season is also a time when God teaches you to discern the difference between His promise and a counterfeit. Many people rush into relationships because they cannot bear the weight, only to discover that impatience cost them the blessing they were meant to have. Waiting tests whether you are willing to trust God's choice rather than your own impulses. It reveals whether your desire is simply for a wedding day or for a lifelong covenant. The waiting season has a way of exposing motives, refining desires, and proving that what you want most is not just companionship, but God's will. During this time, disappointments may come, doors may close, people you thought would stay may leave. And though it hurts, these moments are part of preparation. God removes what is not meant for you so that your hands and heart are free to receive what is truly for you. If everything you prayed for came instantly, you might never learn to release what is temporary and embrace what is eternal. Waiting teaches surrender. It teaches you to say, "Not my will, but yours be done," and to believe that His plan is worth the patience it requires. This season also trains your faith. Faith that has never been tested cannot stand strong when storms come. In marriage, storms will come, challenges, misunderstandings, seasons of hardship. If you cannot endure waiting, how will you endure conflict? If you cannot trust God in silence, how will you trust Him in struggle? The waiting season equips you to hold on, to remain steadfast, to fight for covenant when the enemy tries to tear it apart. In the stillness of waiting, God also works on the heart of your future spouse. Just as you are being refined, so are they. Sometimes the delay is not about you, but about the preparation of the one who will walk beside you. The waiting ensures that when you meet, both of you will be ready, not perfect, but prepared. You will have scars that tell stories of endurance, lessons that shape wisdom, and a deeper appreciation for the gift of love when it finally comes. So instead of seeing waiting as punishment, see it as preparation. Instead of resenting the delay, recognize it as divine timing. What is birthed too soon may not survive, but what is birthed in God's timing carries His blessing and His strength. Waiting is not God holding something back from you. It is God ensuring that when you step into marriage, you will step in ready to carry it for a lifetime. The waiting season is not wasted. It is the fire that forges covenant-ready hearts. One of the clearest signs that destiny is close is when opposition intensifies. Resistance is not random. It is strategic. The enemy does not waste energy on things that have no value. He fights what threatens his kingdom, and marriage, ordained by God, is one of the greatest threats. A covenant between two people who honor God is a weapon of light, a testimony of his faithfulness, and a foundation for generations. That is why, just before stepping into that promise, you may face pressures, misunderstandings, and battles that seem almost unbearable. Opposition proves that what is ahead of you is real and powerful. When you find yourself on the verge of marriage, you may notice unusual resistance. It could come through family members who suddenly raise doubts or create division. It could appear in financial setbacks, unexpected delays, or arguments that rise up out of nowhere. It could even show up in your own thoughts, filling you with fear, insecurity, and confusion. This is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It is a sign that the enemy recognizes what is coming. He knows that once you step into covenant, you will carry influence, strength, and blessings that extend far beyond your own life. Think about the patterns in Scripture. Before Moses led Israel out of Egypt, Pharaoh increased the burden on the people. Before Jesus began his ministry, he was tempted in the wilderness. Before Paul carried the gospel across nations, he was persecuted and imprisoned. The enemy always fights hardest at the doorway of destiny. In the same way, your marriage is more than a personal dream. It is a divine assignment. And so it will not come without a battle. Opposition also has a way of revealing what is inside you. Pressure squeezes out what is hidden. If fear is in your heart, the test will expose it so it can be dealt with. If pride or selfishness lingers, resistance will bring it to the surface. That is not to shame you, but to prepare you. God allows opposition to make sure you are strong enough to carry what is coming. A marriage that has not endured resistance can easily fall apart when life gets hard. But a marriage that has survived the fire of opposition is built on rock, not sand. Sometimes the resistance comes in the form of counterfeits. Just before the right person enters your life, the wrong one may appear, offering convenience without covenant, passion without purity, and attraction without destiny. That is opposition dressed as opportunity. Discernment becomes crucial in those moments, for the enemy will always try to plant distractions near the door of blessing. Opposition here is not meant to confuse you, but to sharpen your vision, proving whether you truly know the difference between what looks good and what is God. It is also important to see opposition not as a wall, but as confirmation. If the battle is fierce, it means the prize is great. If the resistance is heavy, it means the promise is near. The enemy would not waste his strength on a future that does not matter. So when the pressure mounts, lift your eyes higher. Understand that you are standing on the edge of something holy. Instead of being discouraged by resistance, learn to interpret it as evidence. Evidence that your prayer has been heard. Evidence that your destiny is real. Evidence that your marriage will be more than two people coming together. It will be a testimony of God's power. And if you endure through the opposition, you will not just walk into a wedding, you will walk into a covenant that has already been tested, proven, and marked by victory. Opposition is not a sign to quit. It is the proof that what you are fighting for is worth everything. When gold is placed in the fire, it is not destroyed, but purified. The flames separate what is precious from what is worthless, what is strong from what is weak. In the same way, the trials and tests you face before marriage are not designed to break you, but to refine you. Fire does not come to consume what God has called pure. It comes to remove the impurities that would weaken the blessing. The season you are walking through, though painful, is a furnace meant to prepare you for covenant love. Many times we fear the fire. We cry out to escape the heat, wondering why God would allow such intensity when all we desire is peace and joy. But without the fire, the impurities remain hidden. Without the refining, selfishness, pride, impatience, and fear can sit dormant in the heart, waiting to surface later when the weight of marriage presses down. God, in His wisdom, allows you to walk through the fire now so that what is false can burn away before you enter into something sacred. He knows that what is not dealt with before covenant will only grow heavier inside it. The fire may look like delays that stretch your patience to its limits. It may take the form of broken relationships that leave you asking why. It may be financial hardship, family conflict, or loneliness that feels unbearable. Each flame licks at your soul, and it is easy to assume you are being punished, but the truth is that you are being purified. Every tear shed in the fire washes away reliance on self and teaches reliance on God. Every disappointment removes the illusion of control and deepens your trust in divine timing. Every heartbreak cleanses your vision so that you can see what true love really is. Fire is also the place where your faith is proven. It is easy to declare trust in God when life flows smoothly, but faith that has never been tested cannot carry the weight of covenant. In marriage, challenges will come, and love must stand in the fire. How can you stand with another person through storms if you have never learned to stand alone with God in your own? The furnace teaches you endurance, resilience, and loyalty that do not crumble when the heat rises. There is beauty